As I record this, it is officially Halloween. And obviously that means scary movies, but I've seen a lot of scary movies this year. However, I haven't seen any Universal monsters, and we're not talking about the lousy, like the reboots or whatever. No, we're talking black and white with practical effects with all the names that you know. James Whale, Jack Pierce, Bela Lugosi, Dwight Fry, Colin Clive, and of course Boris Karloff portraying Frankenstein from 1931, directed by James Whale. A 70-minute movie that features what happens when a man tries to be a god. Oh, let's see. We've got, of course, Henry Frankenstein, not Victor, but Henry, who is trying to, and so he is going around at like freshly, what was that? Freshly buried bodies, those that were sent to the gallows, those that were, amongst other ways, even going so far as to go into his old professor's, what was that, freaking classroom and having Igor steal either a normal brain and there's also an abnormal brain, and you know what happens from there. It is a classic, quintessential black and white movie, and even almost 100 years later, seriously, it still holds up. Or when this was released in 1939, people's mentality was different then. They obviously CGI didn't exist, so you had to. So poor Boris Karloff, real first name William, had to sit in a chair for 4 hours and get the makeup and stuff applied, the prosthetics, etc., to create the monster. And yes, it is truly one amazing, truly legendary performance. And obviously, as Henry Frankenstein is creating this monster, he realizes, hey, the brain is wrong, and he keeps the monster subdued in darkness. But eventually, the word gets out amongst his fiance, father, and the professor as well. So they kind of see his secret. They see what he was experimenting with. And of course, it's got the legendary scene where he raises it up, waits for the storm to reach its apex. Lightning strikes, he comes down and says, "It's alive! It's alive! Now I know what it feels like to be God." And everything that happens from there, from Frankenstein wanting a soul, I was to avoiding everyone going on, to eventually coming upon one of the more famous scenes of where he's looking at this one woman there named a little girl named Maria, who doesn't pay any mind to Frankenstein. Says, "Hey, do you want to play with me?" Putting flowers in the lake, doing that, and then however he misinterprets it and thinks that she can float. Oh boy, yeah, right into that water there she goes, and it seeing it, it's like, holy smokes, you still see it. 100 years later, it's still haunting. It's not one of those like done with such extreme colors and backgrounds. No, it's just the simple. It's just the lack of music and it just what's going on. It just works so well. It's haunting. This movie is lyrical. This movie is just freaking phenomenal. Of course, yeah, I know I'm praising this and telling a story at the same, describing a story. Eventually, father finds his drowned daughter, and they do something, and of course, then Henry Frankenstein says, "Yes, that was my creature, most likely." So they search into a search party to look for. All the while, Frankenstein's hiding out. Eventually, the two meet for one last time, and they go inside the giant windmill where eventually it does burn down. The place just gets engulfed in flames. Our hero drops, but he survives. And then the creature burns to death, although it returns in the sequel, but whatever. But here, yeah, you know, there's a lot of, it's like this movie is half tragic, half merriment. You see with the merriment, there's the wedding going on. So we get some amazing scenes of music, dancing, and frivolity. Yes. and I don't know, it just works so well. It's like, hey, we got the juxtaposition of these two events happening, and we get about, what is that, like roughly a 5 minute shot of everything going on. Or, well, like the festivities. But yeah, you're not here for that. You're here to see, you're here to see the sets. I mean, these sets, when I watched it on YouTube, you're gonna find the Blu-ray. I mean, it looks stunning. Yes, the abandoned windmill at the red. Yes, it does look a little, I guess simplistic set would be the word. Then again, this was 1931, so they, obviously, I mean, yeah, it's legendary and iconic, so, keep that in mind as you're watching it. Yeah, but the scene itself, when he's just going up, gets it done, I'm just like, this is just freaking astonishing. I mean, it really is a freaking phenomenal movie. You feel so bad for Frankenstein, who is brought into this world, reanimated from several different cadavers and, viscera and stuff like that. And when Karloff, who portrays a sympathetic character, like when he's actually, that scene where he's asking God for a soul, it's like, please give me a soul. It's like, that, there's the, when he's being afraid of fire and everything else, he has maybe a little bit of anger, rightfully so, because Igor is being a dick, period. He just does such a good job that it's truly one of the more truly legendary performances in movie history. Yeah, right down to the boots that they were wearing, the sets. Heck, even the father, her Frankenstein, whatever Herr means, he's pretty good. Frederick, whatever his last name is, but yeah. Obviously, the other star here is Colin Clive, who is at once rational, but I wouldn't want to say blinded, but when he is trying to overcome God, or what it feels like to be a god, yeah. You can tell he plays the crazed scientist, and it's just absolutely incredible. Acting frantic, but at the same time trying to put the creature out of its misery. All over the spectrum. The lines are immortal. Oh yeah, freaking great. This was in January 1st, 2026. The rights for the Jack Pierce makeup are set to expire, so we shall see what will happen if Universal will renew it. That will be interesting to see. If I had to guess, probably not. The director, James Whale, didn't like how Karloff was receiving so much attention. So, like in one of the final scenes, Whale forced Karloff to climb to carry Colin Clive, 6'0", 150 pounds, up to the windmill several times, just out of pure spite, because that's being a dick right there. Clive didn't want to. He said, "Hey, use a dummy," but Whale said, "No, you're going to carry Colin all the way up multiple times," and this required him to have three major back surgeries throughout his life. And obviously, when he became less mobile in the Vincent Price movies I reviewed, yeah, it's like, jeez, you jerk. So, this movie is legendary for a reason. I pretty much said everything right. With the windmill, the platform which Frankenstein is on, and obviously it's based on the book. I have read the book in 8th grade. It was good, but obviously they could include like the blind man and the cottage and everything else. This was written, goodness, Mary Shelley composed this book over 200 years ago. I forgot what she was reading that made it happen at the time, but it's still very interesting to think about. Yes, the book itself is phenomenal from what I can remember, and we've had many different Frankenstein adaptations over the years. I think the very first one ever was Edison's Frankenstein from, 1910, which maybe I'll review, but I can only do maybe 3 minutes. Yeah. So it's just, what else can I say? A freaking phenomenal movie. Of course, some of it may look a little dated by today's standards, which this movie's 100 years old. Have some mercy, it's like, it's not going to, you're not going to get explosions or anything like that, but, it's like, hey, Oh, I also forgot to mention, I watched this with my grandpa on Halloween. With this like 1998. So I'm doing this as a treat. So you, Grandpa George, I think this is the last movie that you and I watched together. So here's to you. Empty. Clink. All right. So do I recommend you watch Frankenstein? Heck yes.